So start first by coming onto your mat and just making this time your time, creating your sacred space, and however that looks for you, whether it's lighting a candle or just allowing yourself to get really comfortable in your seat. And starting first just by giving gratitude to you for turning up, honoring your practice, and calling in the intention that you need for the time that you're practicing now. And then please make your way onto hands and knees into tabletop position. And begin with these cat and cow movements, so arching the spine and rounding the spine. And just moving through this with your own unique breath rhythm in this moment. So just choose as well when you arch your back whether it feels best today to exhale or inhale. And you can change that around just on different days at different times that you practice. Just noticing where the flow of the breath is naturally moving without resistance. And just starting to wake up the spine, or maybe even to soothe the spine if you've been sitting a lot, or if you're holding a lot of tension and stress along the back side of the body. Come to a neutral position. And then staying in the neutral position, just look towards your left hip, as though you want your left shoulder and your left hip to meet, opening up the right side of the body. And then come back to center and do the same thing to the right side. So right shoulder and right hip, like you want to bring them to meet, opening up the left rib cage, the left side of the torso. Come back to center and we'll do it again. So looking to your left hip, left shoulder, trying to come closer together. And then come back through center to the other side. And this is just starting to warm up all areas of the spine. Starting nice and slow and gentle, being kind to our body. And come back to center. And from here, exhale and your hips move back towards your heels into what looks like a child's pose. And we repeat this movement. So as you inhale, round all the way back up to tabletop. And then as you exhale, round in. The hips move back towards the heels, the elbows bend before the forehead touches down to create more traction and length in the upper spine. Inhale, roll up, tabletop. As you exhale, the hips move back, the chin tucks in, the elbows bend, and you descend. Now working movement with breath, getting in harmony with your breath rhythm today or this evening, whenever you're practicing. And now exhale, hips go high into downward facing dog. And this is our next little movement. So inhale, the knees come down to tabletop. And exhale, the hips go high. Downward facing dog. Keep the knees really bent here to isolate the feeling into the hamstrings. Inhale, come down. And exhale, move back. So you're tucking your chin in towards the chest like you want to look at your navel. Root the hands down onto the mat. Then inhale, come back down to all fours. And exhale, hips high. Knees really bent here to isolate the sensation into the hamstrings. Nice and straight back. Now we just stay here for a couple of breaths, feeling the length and the strength along the whole back side of the body, and equal weight in the hands and the legs. Another few breaths. Maybe tuck your chin in a little closer to your chin. with the intention to look at your navel. Then inhale, the knees come back down and the hips move back towards the heels again. Starting to build a little sequence here. Inhale, come up to tabletop. Then exhale, the hips go high into downward facing dog. So now you're familiar with these movements. Inhale, knees come down, and exhale, the hips move back towards the heels, elbows bending. Finding your little unique rhythm with breath and movement. Inhale brings you up, and exhale takes you back to downward facing dog. Feeling a little bit more fluid as you move here. Inhale, tabletop, and exhale, the hips go back high to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank, and exhale, hips go high into downward facing dog. Repeat. Inhale, come forward into plank, and exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Again, inhale, roll forward into plank pose, push your heels back, look forward, and exhale, hips go high, knees bend as you come back into downward facing dog. Again, inhale, look forward, gaze forward, heels push back, and exhale into down dog. Pause in your downward facing dog for just a few breaths here. And as you inhale, the knees will come back down to the mat and lower all the way down onto your stomach. Forehead comes down and the hands stay next to your chest. As you inhale now, without any pressure on the hands, just try and lift your upper body and head as high as you can. And then exhale, the forehead comes down. Again, so inhale, head and chest lifts, no pressure from the hands, the tops of the feet and the knees stay connected to the mat. And then exhale, the forehead comes down. Again, inhale, lift the chest and the head, squeeze your elbows in, really get the stretch and the strength into the lower back. Exhale, forehead comes down. Inhale, head and chest lifts, and exhale, forehead comes down, warming up and strengthening the back. And this time when you're coming up, keep lifting yourself all the way up, and the hips again move back towards the heels, and we turn this into a little flow. So as you inhale, come all the way forward. Keep coming forward. Let the thighs meet the mat. You come into an upward facing dog, and as you exhale, the forehead comes down and the hands stay next to the side of the chest. Again, inhale, head and chest lifts, arms come straight, and exhale, the hips move all the way back towards the heels. So we're building little segments in this flow. Inhale, roll yourself all the way forward. Keep coming forward, upward facing dog. And exhale, squeeze the elbows in as the forehead lowers down to the mat. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. Squeeze the elbows, push up with your hands. And exhale through tabletop, where the hips come back to meet the heels. And then just take a moment's pause in child's pose and start to walk your fingertips over towards your left hand side, so the hips remain resting on the heels, and you're getting now a really beautiful opening into the right side of the body, and your head stays in between the hands as they're walking as far left as you can. And preferably coming onto the fingertips so you get a beautiful opening in the shoulders and the chest as well. And then start to walk the hands back through center, walk them all the way over to the right hand side. Now getting an opening into the left side torso, opening into the connective tissue of the left side rib cage, making sure your breath is still balanced and deep and smooth, and relaxing that left hip towards the left heel a little more. You'll notice just that micro adjustment will deepen your stretch. And walk your hands back to the center, come up to all fours and push back into downward facing dog. And now we turn it into a full flow. Roll forward into plank pose. Exhale, hips go high into downward facing dog. Inhale, the knees come down into tabletop. Exhale, hips back towards the heels. You've done all of these movements already. Inhale, roll all the way forward into your upward facing dog. And exhale, squeeze the elbows in and descend the forehead down to the mat. Now inhale, back into upward facing dog, through tabletop. Hips move back towards the heels into your child's pose. And you inhale, roll up to all fours, and exhale, hips go high into downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward into plank pose, heels push back, gaze is forward, hands are strong. Exhale, hips go high, downward facing dog. Inhale, knees come down, tabletop. Exhale, hips move back towards the heels, elbows bend, and forehead comes down to the mat. Inhale, roll all the way forward into upward facing dog. Exhale, squeeze the elbows in as you lower your body down. The forehead meets the mat, still squeezing the elbows in. Push up to upward facing dog and exhale, hips move back towards the heels. Inhale, all fours, and exhale, back into your downward facing dog. You know the flow now. Inhale, roll forward into plank, heels pushing back, and then exhale, the hips go high, the knees can bend here. Inhale, knees come down, tabletop, and exhale, hips move back, child's pose. Bend your elbows to get more lengthening into the upper spine. Inhale, roll all the way forward, upward facing dog. Exhale, lower the forehead and the body down. And then staying down on your belly now, come into Sphinx pose. So let the legs come wide, a little wider than hip distance apart, and bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, gently gripping into the fingertips on both hands. And if this is too intense a stretch at this time for you, you can always bring the elbows out just a little further in front. So the intention here is to have a passive back opening stretch, rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears. And if you want to deepen the pose here, if you're not feeling much, you can start by bending the knees and just see where you start to feel that sensation. Connecting to your breath, feeling the rhythm of your breath against the mat. Starting to notice that your breath and your mind have a direct correlation to each other. And if you're getting plenty of a stretch here, please stay. If you want to slightly deepen into Sphinx and come into Seal, you can lower the legs back down, bring them wide, and then turn your arms out so that they're like little seal flippers, and then push up onto your hands to come into seal. And the further that your hands are away from you, the less intense the posture, and the more you start to walk them in to be in line with wrist and shoulder, the deeper the back bend. So just choose where you need to be right now and how you feel like your body's responding to the practice so far. And then you can start to slowly lower yourself back down to the mat and just taking a resting counter pose. The forehead comes down to meet the back of your hands. It should feel like a really nice release and reprieve for the lower back. And it's always nice to have a mix of intensity and rest. The body strengthens, but it also restores, rejuvenates, and increases its elasticity and range of motion. Now we'll come to lie on our back. And when you come to lie on your back, just rest for a moment, acknowledging the transition and if any sensations are coming up for you. And then please take a hold of your right knee, bending it in close towards you, and just doing a little pumping action with the right knee. So as you exhale, pulling it in towards you, and inhale, it moves away. And then we come into a twist where the right knee then moves over towards your left side, and your right arm extends out at shoulder height. If your twist feels a little too intense right off the bat, you can have a cushion or a block supporting you where you can place it underneath the right knee and really just get yourself to a place where you can surrender here and let go. So the more that the body can relax, the more it's going to open up for you. As much as sometimes we want to pull and push and look a certain way, it's actually the process of letting go that allows our body to have permission to open up. And now coming back to center, draw the right knee in towards you, just for a moment here. And then extending the right leg back out along the mat. And we'll come to the other side. So left knee draws in, doing the little pumping action. Really good for your lymphatic system and your digestive system. The exhale as it comes in, and the inhale as it moves away. And we'll come into the twist. So left knee comes over towards the right, and the left arm extends at shoulder height. So I'm going to use a block underneath my left knee here, just for the support. And this might be a cushion or a blanket here for you, just so that I'm not pulling too much on my sacrum, I'm not applying too much torque on the spine, and just in general I'm able to surrender more in this posture. And also, despite being in the twist, make sure that you can still breathe here. You might notice a gentle compression of the organs. Might be stimulating some digestive juices in the abdomen, but it should still feel like a comfortable flow of breath. You shouldn't feel restricted here. then we'll come out of the pose, removing blocks or props if you have any, and hugging the left knee in and just holding it in for a few breaths. And then bending both knees in and holding either shin or wrapping your forearms around the legs. And then wrapping all the way up into a ball and releasing. And do this just a few times. So inhale, curl all the way in, knees come in towards your forehead or in that general direction. And exhale releases you back down to the mat. Again, inhale, curl up into a ball. And we'll just stay up in the ball just for a few breaths here. Feeling the compression on the abdomen, which is really soothing for our nervous system and calming us down. And extending the legs out long for your final pose in Shavasana. So let the body just drop in straight away without fidgeting or wriggling too much. Just feel a complete sense of heaviness in the whole body. Feel as though both ankles are sinking further into the mat and into the ground, completely heavy and relaxed. Both knee joints relaxed, no tension. Both legs heavy, relaxed. The hips and the pelvis completely supported, no holding, relax. Abdomen and all the abdominal organs sinking back towards the back body. The chest open and free. Both arms completely relaxed and tension free. No gripping, no holding. The lower, middle and upper spine surrendering to the floor, completely supported and completely relaxed. The neck, the head, and the face, all of the facial structures completely relaxed. Relax your ears, the tongue, release the teeth, and let the eyes sink back into the eye sockets, unfurling any tension in the eyebrows or the forehead. You feel as though each hair follicle is relaxing. Whole body completely relaxed. Start to bring some small movement to the hands and the feet, rolling the head from side to side. Then roll over to your right side and just rest for a moment in a fetal position, letting the breath, body and mind rebalance. Or you make your way into a comfortable seated pose. Choosing to place support underneath your seat or coming into your favorite meditation chair. If you're sitting against the wall, just make sure it's the lower part of the spine that's supported. Upper spine and the shoulder blades should be supporting themselves. Shoulders relaxing down and away from the ears. Spine long and strong now. the breath is smooth and easeful. Allowing yourself to connect to how you're feeling right in this moment. Come into alternate nostril breathing. We bend the index finger and the middle finger in to the right palm, and the thumb connects to the right nostril, and the ring finger connects gently to the ridge of the left nostril where the cartilage and bone meet with really gentle pressure. And just take a normal inhale through both nostrils and out both nostrils. And then we'll begin by gently blocking right nostril, inhaling left for 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the left and exhale right for 1, 2, 3, 4. And repeat. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. And exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Keep going in this rhythm. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4. Block the left, exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. And exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Just a few more rounds in your own breath rhythm. Your breath capacity might be a little more or a little less. And just go with wherever your flow is today and right now in this present moment. The next time that you breathe out of the left nostril, you can gently relax the hand back down to rest on your knee or in your lap. Just feel the sense of balance between both sides of the hemispheres of the brain, and the balance integrating throughout the rest of the body. So we've worked our physiology through movement linked with breath. And notice how efficiently we can get into a beautiful state and a healthy state, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Now bringing a sense of gratitude to yourself for turning up, much like we begun the practice. And whatever your intention was, maybe calling that in now. Flooding yourself with gratitude for you and your self-care. And then also taking the time to find gratitude for your teachers, past and present, seen or unseen, human form, animal form, mystical form, nature form. There's no right or wrong way, just unique to you. Bow your head as though you're honoring yourself and all of those around you. Briskly start to rub your hands together, building heat in the palms and placing the palms over the eyes. The palms being related to the heart organ. You can choose to keep the eyes closed here, or even open the eyes behind the palms, receiving the heat and the energy, and then bringing the hands back down to close your practice. And however you want to move forward from here, it's up to you.